First and foremost, happy Juneteenth. Also, happy solstice, happy Cancer season, happy almost new moon in Cancer. I think it'll be the new moon in Cancer when you see this video, when I release it, but not right now as I record it. Actually, right now as I record it, the moon is in Gemini and I feel like yapping. So here are my top 5 things that I have learned as an astrologer from my clients. Hello, Cosmic Cuties. It is your friendo, the Lady Ms. Vagina Jenkins, artist and astrologer. And if you aren't subscribed to this channel yet, I need you to click that subscribe button right now, please. And thank you. And also, if you're already subscribed, don't forget about the opportunity to become a channel member. Membership in this channel starts at $3.99 a month, and you get really cool perks like custom emojis and loyalty badges, and you get to see my content before it's published publicly. Thanks for listening to my spiel, guys. I'm experimenting with where I put it in the video to capture the most subscribers. So thank you for your patience. I am fresh off of a really amazing weekend of astrology readings. Over the course of being a professional astrologer, learned so much from my clients. And this last month in particular, I have talked to some really interesting people who have given me just unique perspectives on all kinds of things, just through who they are and what they have lived and the way that they shared that wisdom with me. And I love that. I freaking love that for me. I really do. So without further ado, here is the top 5 things I have learned from clients. Summer 2025 edition. Number 1, the Chiron situation, and it keeps coming up over and over again. So, okay, here's the thing. I tend to lean towards being a traditional astrologer, and then I want to understand foundational astrology concepts before I move on to like really specialized astrology concepts. And because of that, I don't work with a number of the fixed stars and asteroids that other people work with. There are literally hundreds of them, and I just feel like I want to understand the basics thoroughly before I start opening that Pandora's box. Having said all of that, there is one asteroid that I do work with, and that is the asteroid Chiron. Chiron, Chiron, and the symbol for it looks like this. I work with Chiron because I find its meaning particularly pertinent to the type of work that I do. Chiron is all about the ways in which we have felt wounded in our lives, particularly like in our early childhood, and the ways in which that wound will stick with us, and it'll be, either something we pick at and enjoy the scar of, or something that we allow to heal and get to experience the wisdom of that healing journey, and then perhaps be able to share that wisdom with others since we become an expert in healing that particular wound. Well, my issue is that in terms of healing and opportunities to heal this wound, I have many of those opportunities because I live on a Chiron line. And so what I mean when I say, I live on a Chiron line, is constantly being afforded opportunities to examine and heal my Chiron wound. Was that an opportunity for healing, or was it trauma? What? Who said that? Who said that? Because I live on this Chiron line and I've been afforded so many opportunities for healing. Sometimes when I am talking to clients about their Chiron wounds, I can be overly pessimistic and not consider that, yes, they may experience wounding or harms or activation around previous traumas, but also they are experiencing healing. So thank you to all of the clients who have gently pushed back when we have talked about your experience of Chiron and your experience of healing, to tell me about the ways in which you have been scared about being re-triggered and re-traumatized, but you did these things anyway, and how it ultimately led to your healing. Those are stories that I want to remember, and I thank you so much for sharing them, because they are teaching me about the double-sided nature of Chiron, both the wounds, but also the journey of healing. Number two interesting thing that I have learned from clients. I feel like so many of my clients have taught me to know what you want and ask for what you want. Most recently, I had a client who is a farm worker, and that's how they make the majority of their money. And they wanted me to do a transit reading for them, a year's worth of transits, to see about their income potential from month to month, so they could figure out when the high times were, when they should be saving and squirreling away money, and when the leaner times might be coming. And I just thought that was so brilliant. You better know exactly what it is that you need from a service and exactly ask for what you need. I'll give you another example. If you look at my website, there's maybe I think there are 8 different types of astrology readings that I have listed on my website. But there is one called the Sabine reading, and that is named after a brilliant femme friend of mine who reached out for a consult, and what they wanted was a consult about only the positive placements and aspects that supported their growth and healing, because they are a Saturn ruled person. And if you know, Saturn ruled people, Capricorn risings, Aquarius risings, folks with heavy Capricorn and Aquarius stelliums, or Saturn placements directly on the angles, and so many other Saturn influences, these folks are often quite hard on themselves. And so this person, Sabine, wanted a reading that would counteract that. Once again, they know themselves enough to know that they are hard on themselves. And so what they wanted from a reading was softness, support, ease, and to feel buoyed and held by their astrological consult. And chef's kiss once again. We love the specificity. Number 3, a thing that I think that I've learned, that I say that I've learned, but apparently I have not learned, because I got the opportunity to revisit the lesson this week. And this is the lesson of no free readings. So one of my values is just a certainty, a knowing, a faith that I'm taken care of and provided for, right? So the money of being an astrologer isn't an end-all be-all. I'm not going to compromise my values, who I am, just for the money of it, right? Yeah, I love paying my rent. I love being housed. It's delicious, don't get me wrong. But I absolutely refuse to let capitalism and the threat of homelessness make me compromise who I am and my values. So the no free readings thing is not so much about like greed in that way. it's about sustaining my astrology practice by sustaining my mental health. And I know that my mental health will suffer if people do not value my work that I'm putting out there. And I notice that people do not often value things that don't have a monetary value. I feel like this is one of the many curses of capitalism. But yeah, this thing where if I offer a free reading, the person will likely be really, really slow to respond, or not respond at all, or respond late. Other times when I've offered free readings, people did not take me up on the offer because maybe it seemed dubious because it was a free reading. This is not shade to any one individual. This just has happened over and over and over again. It happened again this week. And I'm just like, yeah, I have to learn that my knowledge has value, my labor has value. And even though the capitalism of it all does not excite me, I do need to value my energetic, metaphysical, black femme labor. And that's on what? Disrupting internalized misogynoir. Number 4, the lesson of meeting people where they are. I mean this in an accessibility way, but also in a healing journey kind of way. In the accessibility way, I love, and I'm getting better all the time at asking people about their accessibility needs in order to be in a reading with me. Yeah, I'm often trying to use the Zoom features to accommodate folks. Also trying to use my cursor liberally so people can understand all of those little teeny symbols and glyphs that are in the natal chart. That's some of the accessibility stuff, but then there's also the meeting people where they are on their healing journey. So one thing that I often find myself doing, and it took me a while to like identify this, is I will often ask folks about their experience. Like I will name, oh, okay, so this is a particular aspect that I see going down in your chart. When I've seen this before, it looks like a spectrum of energy that looks like this to energy that looks like this. Where do you find yourself on this spectrum, or what experience of this resonate with you and your experience? And that question is, or questions like that, or are twofold. One, I do want to know about the person's experience because that tells me a lot about how the whole chart plays out, right? But it also tells me a lot about where this person is on their healing journey. And I'll say this because I had a couple of Scorpio clients this week, and they were all on different spectrums or parts of the spectrum of their healing journeys. And I don't know if you know this about Scorpio energy, but yes, it's the energy of transformation. And so everybody knows about Scorpio, the insect, scorpion, transforming to then become the eagle. But there's also another stage in Scorpio transformation where the eagle is burned and it becomes the phoenix rising from the ashes. And you can tell, I think, let me know how you feel about it in the comments, agree or disagree. But I think that you can tell a lot about where a Scorpio is on their healing journey by how comfortable, uncomfortable they feel with being seen or perceived. Are they in their scorpion insect energy? Are they in their eagle energy, more about observing than being seen? Or are they straight up in their phoenix energy? And that is what I love to see. And also, it's a journey. It is a journey to get there. And so I will ask all of my clients, not just the Scorpio placements, about basically where they are in their healing journey so that we can understand, oh, okay, so this is more likely how this energy might play out or how you might experience this energy. And I will say that, yes, this is very much like meeting people where they are, but it also can be an opportunity to talk about the room for growth and healing and expansion. And also, in a less woo sense, even if you don't feel as if you are somehow healing, growing a placement, there is the idea of like the progressed chart and how your planets continue to progress, grow, change, expand over the course of your lifetime. And so, yeah, you may start out as a, I don't know, Aries sun, but by the time you're at least 30 years old, you're going to progress into being a Taurus sun. And the same with all of those other planets, and including the rising sign and your angles. All of those things change over time. So that's part of meeting someone where they are as well. And the number 5 thing that I have learned from my clients is remembering to zoom out. As an astrologer, especially if someone has given me a really specific thing that they want to focus on, sometimes I will go in to the minutia of things. Like, oh, what is this sign's planetary ruler? Where's that in the chart? And then what is that connected to? Ooh, what particular degree is that? Ooh, but what arc minute of that degree? And you can get really, really deep and detailed into any particular placement, aspect, interaction in a chart. And that is a fun, informative, research driven deep dive. It's incredibly joyful, but that is not what my clients are interested in. What they are interested in is the synthesis and understanding the big picture and creating that container before stuffing it with individual ideas. And I do find that it is when I zoom out for a moment that I seem to get more clarity about the holistic nature of the person's chart, whatever it is that we're talking about. And understand how this is not a discrete little issue, but an issue that is informed by and touches many other areas of life. And you start to see, I have a fiber artist friend who talks a lot about working with the tangle. You start to see the tangle, the ways in which all of these planets are tangled to create a net, a system, a way of being that is really like like a snowflake. It's unique and special to that particular individual. Even twins don't have the exact same chart. And so I'm very grateful for working with clients and those moments when they remind me, okay, I think I understand about this little teeny piece of the pie, but also what about this picture? And sometimes it's absolutely the reminder that I need to broaden my view and be more expansive in my view. And yeah, you get to see the way in which this holistic net works rather than just this one particular data point. But yeah, those are some things that I have learned as an astrologer from my clients. Shout out to them. Shout out to anyone who has ever gotten a reading with me. And also shout out to those special souls that refer other people to me after their readings. You the realist, and I absolutely appreciate that. Thank you to anyone who supports my work. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for supporting me and my work. And thank you for making time for queer astrology. Bye.